All right. What's up, Xanafer? How you doing today, my guy?
Yeah, life is good, Jake.
Oh, my gosh.
What is good?
Episode number 18 of the Esports Rewind podcast. I'm doing great, man. I'm tired as per usual for podcast day, but I mean,
is what it is.
We can't complain. I think every time we start this podcast now, we just talk about how great the week has been because we've had some great weeks around here, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a good year overall for esports.
Yeah,
if we're being real.
Good year for esports, and that means good year for us.
Yeah,
and,
true.
So yeah, why don't we get this underway? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast where we recap all of the craziest esports and gaming news out there, and yet again, back to back weeks of crazy news.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. This has been weird. I feel like I was keeping track of esports news before we started working here, and like it was fine. It was normal. You hear every now and again somebody talk trash.
Yeah.
Now it's like people are throwing elbows.
I don't know if
right.
it's because we're more into it now that we just realize all the things going on, or
Maybe.
I feel like ever since the past 2 months, we just realize everyone in the esports scene is like, yo, drama is good for the scene.
Yeah,
Let's all
right.
stir up some stuff.
Right.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about our stories. You ready to roll?
Let's get it.
All right, let's get into it. You know, Zan, it's been a while since I've talked about OpTic, and okay,
Well, I know it's not good news.
It's been a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and some crazy news happened. I'm going to try and explain it to you. I know that if you tried to explain a certain esports story out there to me, I would probably be a bit confused. So this goes to Call of Duty, and it's about the OpTic roster. I'm sure you know about they're going to move to LA for Call of Duty franchise.
Right, of course.
Talking about Call of Duty Franchise League is a totally different topic. We've talked about that many a times.
Yeah, true.
This comes to the future OpTic gaming, which I think
In quotes.
exactly. A lot of us can agree is not going to be what it was. But now with most recent rumors, it was actually this past week, Crimsix talked about this a couple of times. He came forward and pretty much said that all of his hard work went to nothing, pretty much kind of stating that OpTic is not going to be the same. He also made sure to mention it was not because of Infinite Entertainment. It was not because of OpTic J. And so he left people wondering, what was it because of? We found out just about by the time you guys watched this, it was actually last week. So we found out apparently it was actually the team, the Call of Duty roster, giving a couple of their friends an ultimatum to choose to stick with the roster and go to Immortals for LA OpTic or to lose the team.
Yeah, that's brutal.
I mean, and it's crazier when you put it in the sense that these guys have played together, that being Scump alongside Crimsix, have played together for nearly 5 years.
No, yeah, those are like some of the only Call of Duty people I know.
It's a rarity for sure. These kind of long-term
yeah.
relationships are a rarity, if not a one-off.
Yeah, right.
You know, so I don't know if you know the history of OpTic Gaming. Before that, it was actually Formal, who was a long-term member of this roster.
Right.
He actually ever since went to LG. Now apparently he could be coming back. So let me give you I know I might be confusing for you.
Yeah, no worries. I follow OpTic. OpTic is because they're old school.
So we find out according to Crim's words, we're gonna wait for more responses as well. According to his words, it's a couple of the youngsters. They're called TJ and Dashi, and it could be Formal as well. Formal, the ex-OpTic guy, coming back, and according to Crim, giving Scump alongside Hector Rodriguez Hex an ultimatum saying, hey, you team with us, we go to OpTic LA together, or you lose us. And so according to Crim, it was Hector and Scump, you know, his two long-term team owner, Hector's obviously been attached to the brand for as long as anyone, and Scump, who he's been friends with for many a years, been playing alongside for 5 years.
Right.
And they're forced into choosing, like, okay, we got a certified really good roster with LA OpTic, who's going to probably pay us pretty well, and it's a guaranteed franchise team. I kind of my question for you is this: say me and you were friends for 5 years,
right? Yeah,
we're Call of Duty pros. We've been through the ringer together, man, but we've stuck together side by side. And you find out that I've been given an ultimatum from another couple of our best buddies, and they tell me, hey, you get a guaranteed salary for the next year, a franchise spot, and you get a really good roster. All you got to do is drop Zan. How do you like?
Being honest, I mean, it's hard. It's rough to hear. I mean, I can only imagine how brutal it is to hear that coming like from your friends. But at the same time, I get it. I mean, it's business at the end of the day, and especially with the Call of Duty League. Like, it's not that, like, this is a Nade Shot, Nick Merck situation, where that was, like, another time where people were like, yeah, Nade Shot's stabbing homie in the back, but at the end of the day, business is business.
Yeah.
You gotta...
I forgot about that story, to be honest, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's just... that's the thing. We can only imagine, right?
Right, yeah.
Like, if he ever saw this, he's probably like, yeah, you twerps have no idea. And yeah, you're right. We have no idea. I've never been backstabbed in this fashion with so much money on the line by a 5-year friend. And the fact that it came down to OpTic having this story.
Right.
Of all the teams out there to have this drama,
right.
it has to be OpTic. And I think even further than that, I bring up the point. So obviously it'd be gut-wrenching. We can't really, know how he feels about this, but obviously good reason to be upset.
Yeah.
And you really can't blame Scump. We understand that. We add in further the fact that now Hex, there was speculation he could be doing his own thing, and now he's going back to Immortals.
Yeah, Hex.
The LA OpTic?
I don't know how I feel about him right now because he's kind of like making some moves that really aren't painting him in the best light. Especially,
and I'm not saying he's not looking like a villain.
Yeah, of course not.
It makes you more confused what his plans were because people were hoping that he'd be going somewhere, maybe starting a new org, and maybe having a COD spot there. Now, and again, we need more details on what's going on behind the scenes because I thought it was really weird that maybe Hector was given an ultimatum when Hector probably has more options than anyone in this case.
I don't know if he actually does, though.
Again, I don't know.
Yeah, so I remember a couple weeks ago when we were talking about OpTic and Hex and all that stuff going on there, where he was getting denied purchasing options. I think he was trying to buy OpTic back or something along those lines.
And again, that's this hairy detail. Eventually, it ends up being Lee Zyman who buys the Outlaws. And so people like me were thinking, okay, he could partner up with just about anyone. Maybe that's not the case.
Maybe nobody wants to partner with Hex, to be honest.
That's pessimistic Zan.
I don't know. It is definitely pessimistic Zan.
I don't think he's a villain here, but it is very weird that everyone was hyping up Hector's new org, man, Hector's new OpTic, and now he could be going to Immortals, where he literally will only get an OpTic COD roster. There will be no other team there named OpTic besides Call of Duty, and to get there, he's getting rid of Crims. And Karma is also another one of long-term guys. He's getting rid of 2 long-standing OpTic guys and taking this ultimatum, as it seems right now publicly. And so, I don't know, man.
I just hate how this franchise league is kind of torn everybody apart. Low-key.
I'll bring this up next week, man. It's literally ruining the scene.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Yeah.
I'll briefly mention in closing points as well. Alongside this OpTic drama, it's so weird to see a franchise league come to an esport. And once this franchise league starts, all of the Call of Duty orgs that we have come to know, they're not there.
They just got snapped out of existence. They're gone. It's wild.
All of a sudden, we have all these businesses like freaking Lowe's and Walmart. And, I don't know. All these names you don't know are going to own teams. And they're like, who's going to cheer for Cronky Sports?
I'm just waiting for
no
Apple.
Offense to Cronky fans.
Apple's going to come through if they're like,
yo,
we got iPhone gang.
Here we go, guys. Apple phones. Yeah. Literally, their name is going to be for the team, the phones or something. Some kind of plug. It's just weird.
It'll be Apple spelled like APL.
Oh, yeah, of course. Like their freaking stock.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, man, more college drama coming soon, guys. OpTic is full of drama right now, and we'll see what their future really is, because it's surely confusing right now.
All right, so to keep things a little bit more positive.
I love when you're positive, Zan.
It doesn't happen very often. Yeah. But anyway, esports, we're making moves as a community. We're getting one step closer to the Olympics every year.
Yes, we are. And what game do you think might be it? Is that a talking point today, or what?
No, I mean, because we're talking about the Intel World Open, which is happening right before the next Olympics.
I actually have not heard about Intel World Open.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, so basically, this is a tournament run by Intel primarily, of course. With the name and all that.
That makes sense.
I thought it was Microsoft. But no. Anyway, so they're kind of doing it's an event leading up to the Winter Olympics. It's not officially part of the Winter Olympics, although it is endorsed by the Olympics.
Dumb question.
Yeah, go for
Winter
it.
Olympics 2020?
Yes, that is 2020.
So this is leading up to it, so it's this winter?
No. It's leading up to. It's a bit complicated, the schedule.
Okay.
But because they got online qualifiers and all that, of course, too. But the event itself will be taking place, I believe, 2 days before the Olympics, and then on the very first day of the Olympics. And
very interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's going to be the main event with online open qualifiers for anybody beforehand.
We know how those go usually.
Yeah, I mean those are always a little dicey.
The first cheaters ever in Olympics will be freaking via esports.
No, yeah, right. We'll be showing up to the Olympics and people will be like, you know what? We found out that homie over here is teaming.
Yeah, the XX Swag 17 was freaking teaming in a bush.
But it seems like they made good picks for the games. They're going with Street Fighter V and Rocket League.
Okay, very interesting. very peculiar picks. As you notice, they avoid any games with guns, which is fair. Which is fair.
More traditional type games that I imagine an average audience can latch onto way easier.
Oh, this is the 500K announcement.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, it's too. Yeah. We were talking about this in the office the other day.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah. It's 500K total for the event. 250K split between Rocket League and Rocket League gets 250.
That's a lot of money for Street Fighter, man.
Yeah.
You guys got to be rejoicing.
Yeah, I mean, we all of us fighting game heads know we poverty a little bit, but we're slowly building our coffers a little bit. Actually, Intel's director of business development, Mark Subotnick, I hope I'm close to pronouncing that right. He said that they picked these two games because even casual spectators can watch them and keep up with what's going on screen. Like, obviously, they don't expect people to be reading into, like, Akuma just threw out that dragon punch, and, they don't expect that.
There's probably more reasons behind it, but, of the safe genre games, I think Rocket League's a solid pick.
Rocket League's a good pick, and Street Fighter has its long-standing history.
If you think Street Fighter's a solid FGC pick, then I'd probably have to agree with you.
It's a good representation. The scene's been coming back. The game has been getting a lot better in recent months. Mm-hmm. So, I'm just happy that we're finally getting closer to actually being approved.
Yeah. So how will they partake in the not necessarily in the Olympics, but just really kind of as a side note to it?
By my understanding, like I said, it's endorsed by the Olympics Committee.
Okay.
And it is going to be happening in the same area. I don't know for sure that it's the exact same venue. I saw conflicting details on that. But at the very least, it's an Olympic adjacent event.
Yes. So hey, the more eyes, the merrier.
I mean, we got pretty close with the I think it was the event in 2018
I think I know what you're talking about. We got close, but I think negotiations got shut down.
Yeah, no, the event actually happened, but I think we got like non-official medals.
Okay.
Like we got like Olympic medals, but they're like paper mache or something.
Yeah, I think it'll be a while until we get there, but if we can get big events that are around it and more eyes.
Yeah, I'm just glad they're willing to associate with us.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here thinking if we don't get Olympics by 2024, I'm quitting esports, dude. This is freaking boat. Or we're doing our own thing.
We're burning it all down.
Yeah. Like real sports are gonna pay if we don't.
We're opening the Olympics.
Yeah. Oh no. That's gonna be a thing for sure.
Oh yeah,
someone's
definitely.
Gonna try that if we don't get it eventually.
Yeah, Intel's gonna be like,
Gosh,
the Intel Olympics.
We're gonna get made fun of so bad if we do that.
Oh
so let's hold off for now.
Definitely.
But yeah, we're inching closer, so can't complain about that.
Yeah, good prize pools.
And now we're into at least back-to-back weeks, Zan, of Twitch bans. Hello, welcome back to the regular recurring segment of Twitch bans for racial slurs.
Yeah, I feel like it's like every other week now. We're like, hey, so-and-so, I know you really like them, but
they've dropped a bad word before.
They did a bad thing.
Yep,
not great.
I just can't wait for the moment someone's gonna clip us saying like a kind of not even a bad word, but like a word that somehow in a different language sounds like a bad word. And
I was going to the grocery store the other day.
Yeah, and someone's gonna use that and somehow hear the N word out of nowhere. Either way, this one's all around Liquid TF Blade. I'm always curious about your insight on the bans because. Right. We've had such a wide variety, and especially when it comes to Twitch, we not only see subjective bans of, oh, you should get banned, you shouldn't get banned. Oh, you did something really bad, we're not going to ban you. You did something less bad, we're going to ban you.
Yeah.
1 day, 7 day, 30 day. Twitch is all over the board when it comes to these kind of things.
And they've never explained it.
Yes.
They've never said anything about it.
That's the best part. No response, best response. But let's hit you with it here, Zan. It's actually Liquid TF Blade, and it's now his second racial slur ban by Twitch. Let me clarify his first one. I think a lot of us can agree. Didn't say it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good chance he didn't say it.
Okay. I think a far majority of people agree with that. He was actually accused of saying the N-word a while back. His 14-day suspension was then reduced to 7 days.
Yeah.
And at that point, people are like, okay, so you said he said the N-word. You gave him a 14-day. If you still don't think he said the N-word, why do you reduce his ban to a 7-day?
No, yeah, why not just cancel it?
It was suspicious.
What's the I would love to know the logic. They're like, you know what? There's a 50% chance he said it, so we're gonna cut the sentence by 50%.
It's like, what is like either uphold it or take it all away.
Yeah, right.
But now I think more people agree this one was deserved. He's already apologized. He did use coined the term dogs. Now when it comes to European, Eastern, and I believe Nordic culture, along the lines of also I think Turkey falls in there. I'm going to sound stupid no matter what, okay?
We don't have the best record with geography on this podcast.
I'm going to sound stupid no matter what I say. Around those regions, This term, especially...
And which regions are those, Jake?
God, shut up. You guys know what I'm saying. When used around those regions, especially towards people of those cultures, using the term dogs, yes, that is considered to be a racial slur.
It's got a history, for sure.
And you look at Twitch terms of service, that is defamatory, that can be considered derogatory, harassment. It deserves a ban. He knows that. He's admitted it.
Right.
Now, when it comes time for American people, when they hear the word dogs and out of context, they will literally laugh and say, Twitch is so stupid. Now, Twitch is not stupid for giving the ban out in this case. They are stupid in the way that they give out bans to a guy like TF Blade and not other people we talked about last week. I'm not going to say names.
Tuffa.
Tofu. We've talked about this, and it's not only him. It's other people as well that have escaped bans.
Consistent problem with Twitch.
And for me, I'm curious what you think about this very briefly. When I talk about a guy like TF Blade, who was already kind of screwed over in the past, and now we have this, where suspicious to me, maybe not to you guys, it's 11 days after he was actually banned from the EUNE League of Legends server, because that's where it did take place. It took place in a server in those regions where that term is considered to be a racial slur. Appropriate. 11 days later, Twitch staff bans him. It seems very weird. It seems to me like someone maybe has an eye out for this guy. It's a deserved ban, but for this guy to get constantly sought after, and again, I would say alongside... Again, racial slurs are racial slurs.
Right, yeah.
But the things we've heard other people say and not get banned have been far worse. I feel bad for the guy. I really do.
I mean, that's understandable. I mean, I don't, because I mean, realistically speaking, there are so many other things you could just not insult people.
That's why I like your standpoint.
Yeah, like I feel like if I was a streamer, and this is probably why I probably will never be a streamer, I would be so careful with my word choice constantly. Like I'd avoid anything that could be potentially misconstrued as.
That's why I don't cuss, man.
I mean, like, yeah, exactly. I know.
Don't even put it in my freaking body. Otherwise, I'm gonna say it eventually. And again,
it's just like you got to be concerned.
It's a tough profession because you're constantly under the scope, and if you're gonna stream for 40-60 hours a week, you're gonna slip up, man.
Right, yeah, of course. I've had like conversations for like an hour where I've had like, oh, that word choice wasn't great.
Yeah.
But you can't really walk something back on stream.
Yeah.
Once it's out there, it's out there.
Exactly. And that's the part that sucks. And then very lastly, again in closing, I think it sucks even more because now we have the Liquid owner getting involved, and he's clearly like, hey, by the time this comes out, there might be a punishment. He's we don't approve of that behavior, obviously. We'll see what his punishment is in the next few days. I think they would have kicked him right away if they were going to.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do anything
So I wonder what the punishment's going to be.
I mean, maybe that's the right move here. Maybe orgs or whoever is representing these streamers need to get more involved at the ground level as opposed to letting Twitch handle it.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, because Twitch obviously can't. They realistically speaking, they can't.
Twitch has proven that they cannot. They cannot go around every ban appropriately. Maybe you're right. Maybe we see FaZe or Liquid get involved and say, "Hey, we're cutting their pay for 2 weeks."
And
everyone maybe that. Hey, frick yeah, dude.
Ooh, we fixed it. We fixed it.
Liquid, stop paying TF Blade. But hopefully an appropriate judgment will be here soon. I feel bad for the guy. It's fair in some cases. It's kind of unjust given the broad context.
Of course.
So we'll see what happens next week in terms of Twitch streamers going rogue. Can I get a Huya or no?
No idea
what is oh my gosh. It was a thing.
Is that a specific kind of drink or something?
I feel like that was a thing somewhere. Like, can I get a Huya? No? All right, maybe it's just my school.
Maybe it just wasn't a Vegas thing. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm an Iowa guy, so maybe that.
Yeah, I mean, shit, I say bet all the time.
True.
You guys, I've got you guys on that
We
now.
Low key. I freaking hate that I say some things.
I'm starting to indoctrinate you all. Fix your language.
But anyway, why I said that.
Yeah, because we're talking about a legitimate potential competitor to Twitch, for once.
Yes, and it's not pronounced Huya. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it is actually properly pronounced.
I would imagine Huya.
I think it's Huya. I think it's Huya. But I mean, every time we talk about Twitch, I think the point we eventually wind up coming back to is like, oh yeah, people don't have other options. It's Twitch, or like, what are you gonna do? Go to Mixer?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like right. Like, I mean, I understand why people want to, but it's just like it doesn't have the functionality, it doesn't have the viewer base, it doesn't have like anything, right? Thing is, though, Huya might be the first viable competitor, actually.
And I feel
Couple
like
major
you've
reasons.
told me about this a long time ago, and I could be thinking of
probably.
a different site.
Yeah, no, you probably heard because I was talking about this a couple months ago when they signed a contract with actually connecting to our last story again, Team Liquid.
You told me about this.
Yeah.
Yes. So you've been on the Huya train for a while.
I like to keep an eye on China. You know, they're doing a lot of interesting things when it comes to esports.
Yeah.
And anyway, we know Twitch is doing great. Just to throw out some numbers, Twitch has 2.2 million people streaming daily, roughly, and around 15 million viewers daily, which is, that's like great numbers. By comparison, let's see what Mixer looks like. Mixer only has about 30 million monthly users.
Okay.
Which, really not great.
And you just said how many daily for Twitch?
2.2 million.
So it's far off.
It's not aggressively, but, it's still like a wide gap.
Okay.
Pardon me, at the end of the day. And, actually, the 2.2, that's just people streaming.
Okay.
The viewers daily for Twitch is 15.
Okay, I was going to say, those numbers are pretty close there, Zan.
No, yeah.
Make sure you get your metrics right there, Cap.
And the metrics are important here because Huya is exclusive to China. And yet, it already has, let's take a look here, 55 to 100 million active users monthly. I couldn't get an exact number because I don't know that they're providing that.
It has 55 to 100 million active users monthly.
Yeah.
And Mixer has
33
million?
30 million.
30 million monthly?
Mm-hmm.
So it's already beating Mixer without
like
having Ninja.
50 is the low end estimate.
Okay.
Yeah. And part of this, admittedly, is because Twitch is banned in China, like completely. You have to use VPN to access it just because, pardon me. China has a history of doing that with any Western media sites that look like they might be problematic. But, there are about 700,000 streamers on Huya, and they have apparently a better rev share split than Twitch. That's all I read. Everything I read on it said, you get
and
more money. And
for what we know,
Huya.
Twitch, you get half your subs.
I believe so.
You get half your subs subscription money. What about Huya?
Huya, I couldn't find specifics because once again, it is in Chinese.
Better.
It is in Chinese, so kind of a language barrier there. Obviously, I could have, pardon me, maybe I could have found a Chinese site.
Yeah.
But, Google Translate is so unreliable. But anyway, Huya's only been around for a little over a year. And it's growing at it's doubling its growth every single year after year. According to this other statistic,
doubling its growth every single year, but it's only been around for a year.
Yeah. Well.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. It's quarters. Here's something a little bit more precise. Over the last 3 quarters, Huya has averaged a 189% growth in earnings.
So it's nearly doubling every quarter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In earnings, okay.
They just recently invested $30 million in the ESL for ESL events.
Oh my
and
gosh! That could be big.
Yeah,
because
right.
I know ESL gets heavily involved with fighting or shooter games, and if they can have the Chinese lock on,
they will have the Chinese lock because they are the streaming platform in China.
There are a lot of Chinese viewers for games like CS, and ESL runs a lot of CS events. Oh my goodness gracious!
I'm dying over here. Yeah, Twitch just has me they heard me talking trash. They sent their they sent something over the airwaves.
Wow, so if they can get a little lock on ESL and big organizers, we all know Chinese. Oh my God, for PUBG.
Yeah. And this is all these numbers. This is purely in China. And Huya's talking about making the move over to U.S.
One thing I will say.
And talking about partnering with more esports teams.
Before they potentially move to the U.S. and partner with more esports orgs, we have seen huge inflated numbers from Chinese viewership from these Chinese streaming sites. Yeah. Is Huya one of those? Because it could be.
It could be,
but no one knows their metric for viewers.
No one, see,
their numbers,
by my understanding, the viewer metrics on this are pretty standardized, right?
Okay.
But there are also several other metrics that people would refer to as when we talk about, let's say, impressions on Twitch, that means a very specific thing where I don't know if Huya and other Chinese platforms mean the same thing when they say impressions.
Yeah, there might be a loss in translation there.
Yeah. It could just be, this video shows up in somebody's feed, not even them clicking on it. That could read as an impression.
Yeah,
that type
them
of thing.
hovering over it, impression.
Right. Yeah, I just don't know because I can't, we
Yeah.
don't have access to that data. But realistically speaking, none of that is the most important factor in why Huya could low-key body Twitch. They're partnered with Tencent.
Oh no, that's all you had to do. Dude, why didn't you just start with that, bro? You literally could have just said Huya 10 cent. I'll be like, all right, I'm there. What? Of course.
Yeah.
Oh my freaking gosh, it makes me itch. If you sorry for anyone who's not watching on YouTube. Okay, we love 10 cent.
Yeah,
we've always wanted to be sponsored by 10 cent.
10 cent is the best company in the world.
They are literally a god in esports, and of course they have hands in this. Do you know how big of hand they have it?
I don't know.
They're invested.
They don't own
everything.
it, but they are a partner.
They have a dip in They got a finger in everybody's hair. Mm-hmm. That's a weird way to put it.
But it's probably accurate, realistically speaking.
We could not name a single company in esports that has more hands and more games than freaking 10 cent or organizations and companies.
10 cent might as well be running the industry at this point.
Just the fact that you said that, I say they have a chance. I mean, I cannot wait to see how this comes to fruition and their plan to take on America. I would say one thing that I noticed when it comes to Chinese sites compared to American sites, it seems a lot more sloppy and free-handed in the way that they do things.
Yeah, I feel that.
I feel like Twitch is a bit more uptight, a bit more kind of, I like what they do. I like the way Twitch looks. I like the way Mixer looks. When I see Chinese websites, it's hectic. It can be.
I took a look at Huya. It's very organized. In comparison to a lot of other sites, like I know like not a Chinese site, but just because I feel like more people might associate with this one. Nico Duga was Japanese YouTube essentially. That's busy. Huya seems very organized when I looked at it, and based on everything they've said about it, like this statement from Huya CEO, gonna get this name very wrong. I apologize in advance.
You're probably gonna nail it.
Yeah, Rongjie Dong. We're longing for the U.S. market. We know in the U.S. Users have high value and there's a large pool of users. We also recognize Twitch is a very strong competitor. We hope we are well prepared and are clear of our strategy before we enter the US market. So I very much feel like we're going to get a tailored user portal for the US that's maybe even more organized, more like our standard media sites, right? Yeah. Because, pardon me, we all know if they really wanted to, they could have just pushed out a US version of their website in probably a month. I mean, they got 10 cent money backing them up. They could do whatever. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they're saying all this months ahead of time. I mean, we may not see Huya in America for another year or so. But
hopefully when they do, it's ready to go, and we'll see how it hits Twitch.
Probably it will be, because, I mean, if they've already got better numbers than Mixer and they're only in China,
that's
kind of like...
It's a crazy way to put it.
Yeah.
Like, if they actually can, if they even just put a little bit of that 10 cent money into some American streamers, oh my.
Now, just think, they got Team Liquid. They're Team Liquid's exclusive streaming partner.
But that must be for a certain events, because TF Blade is part of Liquid and he's not on.
Well, I mean, obviously, TF Blade streams to primarily English listeners, I would assume.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so obviously.
Oh, only Chinese streamers under Liquid's brands?
By my understanding, they're going to do a lot of exclusive stuff for China. But down the line, once they are over here, Team Liquid will be switching.
Yeah, that probably just wow.
Yeah.
And that's already quite a few viewers for at least a couple of their streamers.
Right, yeah. I mean, they could easily make another couple pickups.
Woo!
They could just be like, hey,
where's that Huya stuff?
Tim the Tap Man, you want to come chill? You want
to be the first American streamer, first big boy American streamer on Huya?
Yeah, imagine a Huya 100 Thieves partnership.
Oh my gosh.
It'd be a wrap.
Huya?
It'd be a wrap.
Oh my goodness! Where's that stock price? Let's track it from now on. That stock price. But it's
about to set an alert.
Oh my gosh, dude! You should have told me this. Oh, we should invest before we post this podcast episode. All right, the future of Huya.
Yeah.
Can it take over Twitch in the coming years? We'll be watching.
We'll see.
All right, Zan. My last topic for you.
All right.
Let's keep it brief for all the viewers out there. We're going to talk about poaching in esports.
Ooh.
And a little bit about this, bit of background. We actually had an organization, many of you guys know about, that being G2, accused yet again of poaching players. Now, the way it was actually said, though, it was actually a tweet from the CEO of Team Crazy, or Crazy Esports, and he actually accused Ocelot, well-known G2 owner, of poaching his players. And I kind of wanted to talk about this, posted a video which actually did pretty decent about this. What classifies poaching in esports? Let me get your definition. If you have one on top of your head.
Yeah, I would say going behind an organization's back, because I imagine there is sorry, Mike. I imagine there's an order of operations this goes in. Like, you're supposed to reach out to a player's, I don't know, their PR person or whatever. Or
some sort of management first and say, hey, what's up? Can I talk to your player? That way the organization knows.
Yeah, even if it's not the organization, I don't know, maybe third-party agent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I was a player, I'd want like somebody outside of the org managing my stuff.
Yeah. So you think directly contacting the players behind the organization's back considers poaching?
Like if I slid in the TF Blades DMs and I was like, "Oh, I heard you're on the outs with Liquid. You wanna, come through?"
Boom, then, poaching?
Yeah, I would say so.
I'm with you on that one. The thing is, so what this comes down to is we actually had G2 accused back in League of Legends days. And so League of Legends is one of the few esports where poaching has actually been defined because they have a database tracking contracts.
Okay.
They pretty much say if they have knowledge in their database of you having a contract from here to here, you're not allowed to be contacted in that window.
That's fair.
But when it comes time for games, let's say like CSGO, which they've now been accused in, there's no database saying this player's contract, this player's not, here's how long it is.
Right.
And so we have players being contacted all the time. So what's considered poaching in League of Legends is going on all the time across many esports out there. So it kind of comes down to the question, do you consider that to be poaching, or is it based off the esports individual rules? Because it can get a bit sketchy.
No, yeah. Actually, as soon as you said that, I immediately saw how this gets dicey because we have problems all the time just finding a player's social media account. Like, I imagine how difficult it must be for an org to find out, how long is this person's contract? Are they still with the organization?
Yeah.
Like, it must be such a nightmare to try and do that.
And so, you kind of bring up a different standpoint as to, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Obviously, when you have established rules for an esport, don't break those rules.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm saying it's a hassle, but I'm not saying they shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you just put in the time and effort.
And nothing has came of these accusations. That's how light these are. So I'm not accusing G2 here, but poaching's a thing in real traditional sports. It's a huge thing. You can get fines for it. You can get in big trouble for it. When it comes to esports, we've not really seen any big punishments about this. So when it comes to CS:GO, though, what's your way around this, right? Because like you said, if you're an org or an owner and you want to contact a player, it's pretty freaking easy to go to Twitter DMs and say, "Yo, what's up, man?"
Yeah, definitely.
As opposed to having to reach out to the org, having to get clearance to actually talk to their player. Maybe they lie to you and say, "No, he's under contract for a while."
Right.
And so there's that fine line of what's okay to you and how can we actually judge this?
Honestly, I think I'm on the side of like League here. I like the fact that they have this database of contracts. I think something like that should probably be standardized just for the sake of transparency. So first of all, maybe that will probably help with the problem we've had a lot in the esports community lately where players aren't getting paid. If we know, hey, this is what your salary says you're supposed to get, and that's public info, it'll make it harder for orgs not to do that.
Some kind of enforcer. Yeah. Obviously, it'll have to be esport by esport because,
of course.
How big that'd have to be to cover every esport, every player out there.
We do need some kind of regulatory group, to be honest, because let's be real, WISA is nothing. They're like...
Yeah, they haven't done much.
Yeah.
They investigate NIP,
everything they've done has been kind of trash.
That NIP investigation,
though. I mean, like, that was...
I got Ian nailed that.
WISA doing work.
Google Translate doing work.
Yeah, true. I wonder how much Google got paid for that investigation.
But yeah, man, I bring it up because it's kind of it's not a huge deal.
Right.
But it could be in the future. So maybe we do maybe we do see some sort of form of that set up across other esports. Yeah. And it is a lot of work. And some sort of regulatory form of okay, we know this is bad,
right?
But I think until then, we're going to keep on seeing it. It's going to be one of those things that traditional sports would not allow. That's going to float on by for a while for esports.
Yeah,
because it's the easiest way to do it.
Until somebody gets a little greedy, sticks their toe a little bit too deep in the water.
Someone's going to poach a little too hard. And some org owner is just going to freaking snap. Like, meet at land, just like, yo, like, giggy. And we'll be covering it when it does happen.
You best believe. We'll be talking. We'll come in like midnight on a Sunday. Like,
guys, it happened. Some org owner just got knocked the frick out.
Whoa, guys, Nadeshot just punched Banks out.
Nadeshot just flat out punched Banks for stealing so and so and so. All right, we'll break it down when that does come. But until then, poaching, not too big of a deal.
Talking about people dipping their toes a little bit too far into the water, getting a little bit too greedy. The UK is looking at EA and Lootboxes and going like, you know what, maybe dial that back. Maybe don't do that. Maybe, we say no.
We've been covering this for so long, and it keeps on we're stepping closer and closer to action being taken, man. And you're probably happy as balls.
This is action being taken, like, in progress as we speak. Woo! Like, legit, I am so impressed by the UK government and how fast of a turnaround we've seen on this, which, I mean, realistically speaking.
For now.
Yeah, I mean, for a government, like, type situation, this is incredibly impressive. So, just today, actually, the day we're recording this, Thursday, the UK Parliament actually released an article titled it's an inquiry rather, looking into the rise of immersive and addictive technologies. Now,
Okay.
this wasn't about loot boxes specifically. They covered like tons of different topics, and I think you should check it out at some point because they talk about esports, they talk about cyberbullying. By the way, they like esports. They say they like the way orgs are trying to like treat their players properly. They think there's room for growth, and the Parliament was just like, hey, yeah, maybe we work on how we can integrate this safer into schools and stuff. And
good to hear.
I guess good looks. But anyway, there was one very, very telling line. I just want to read you this quote because I got so happy reading this. I was like, yeah, get him.
Zan is very anti-loot box, if you guys didn't know.
See, I wasn't until a couple months ago, and I looked into it, and I was like, maybe we don't
got him fired up today.
Yeah, for real.
What was it?
Okay, it says, we recommend that loot boxes that contain the element of chance should not be sold to children playing games, and instead, in-game credits should be earned through rewards won through playing the games. In the absence of research which proves that no harm is being done by exposing children to gambling through the purchasing of loot boxes, then we believe the precautionary principle should apply, and they are not permitted in games played by children until the evidence proves otherwise. Which is huge. That's like saying, imagine going up to NBA 2K and saying, yeah, you got to be M-rated, my guy.
Yep,
people got to hand over their
Imagine
ID,
if
right?
every game we play with loot boxes, which is every game, by the way, pretty much.
It really actually isn't. It feels like it. And this is part of why I'm really against loot boxes.
Besides like fighting games, what doesn't have it?
Most stuff, surprisingly.
Well,
I looked up a list of games, right? Because when I looked into loot boxes originally, my thought process before that point had always been, okay, maybe loot boxes are a necessary evil. Maybe this is what we need to support certain games that are live services and everything, keep them making content for us.
What doesn't have loot boxes?
Surprisingly, most stuff. Like when I looked up the list of major games that have loot boxes in them, it was only like 30 titles.
But there are a lot of big titles that have.
They're big titles, but they're titles that don't need loot boxes. Like, can you honestly say Overwatch needs loot boxes to survive?
Yeah, but they make a lot of money.
They make a lot of money.
We don't know how they could affect the player base. I'm on the win with this one, man.
I think
making 18 plus is it can be harmful to the overall esports economy.
See, yeah, making 18 plus definitely, but this is the way I see it. This is a move that says, hey, get rid of loot boxes. If you want your games to not be rated M, if you don't want the tag attached to them, it's just saying, just stop having loot boxes. Easy. Because realistically speaking, I know, especially in terms of stuff like CSGO, and this inquiry does specifically reference CSGO.
Don't target CSGO.
Hey, the inquiry,
Overwatch.
The inquiry specifically
Apex
talks about
Legends,
CSGO.
Battlefront.
Obviously, CS is not bad.
They're one of the least egregious ones.
I don't know that I can say it's not bad, but it's definitely on the lower end.
Okay.
For sure. Right?
This is such a debatable point, man.
Yeah, definitely. But every single bit of research that's been done, like I remember that study that I read last time we talked about it, saying that loot boxes were more closely linked to problem gambling.
I know. You already told me this.
Literally drinking and alcoholism and all that. And it's like, let's be real here. Do you think CSGO can survive without loot boxes?
That's the thing. I don't know.
Is your game so weak that it can't survive without loot boxes?
Why don't you calm the frick down, okay? I'm just saying that when it comes time for collecting things, trading things, selling, buying things, having an economy, that certainly can help a game a lot.
Yeah, but you can do that without loot boxes. You really can.
But things lose a lot of value when you just can earn them all in game.
Yeah, sure, they lose some value.
But it could be all.
If it's all, I think honestly, I don't think I mind that trade-off. Because realistically speaking, think about it like this, right? Say, instead of being loot boxes, say you have to work your way up to a certain level to earn a certain sniper rifle skin, just as an example, right?
Yeah.
But you still make it so that skin can be traded.
Yeah, but then you can't have a buying and selling market because then you have a bunch of these farming top level guys only being able to make money. Like, can you still have an economy? Do you still buy sell for real life cash? Is real world trading just dead then, or you only have in game markets?
I think there's some kind of way here to make everybody happy.
I don't think we found it yet.
I don't know that we found it yet, but I do know that we have a lot of proof that loot boxes. Flat out. No, there is very little debate. Loot boxes harm a large group of people.
I'm not saying
a minority.
I honestly think this is a step in the right direction. If we can find I think we've said this before. If we can find a healthy medium of how our games don't die and still can flourish,
right,
and not persuading our kids to gamble, I think it's a good thing.
I think honestly, we just don't need loot boxes. You can
Yeah,
still have
I'm not on that
in-game
page.
purchases. I'm not saying get rid of in-game purchases or economies or anything. I'm saying loot boxes very specifically as
But I don't think
chance-based,
you should not have to harm people who are responsible enough that they only buy loot boxes because they want to. Like, you shouldn't be forced to take that out of the game entirely.
Well, the way I see it is, you know, have you ever heard the phrase "I am my brother's keeper"?
Yeah, but I don't know what it means.
It's like saying, hey,
I don't have a brother.
Humanity as a whole is only as strong as its weakest link, right? You've always got to look out for, and hey, I totally understand.
I can't look out for everyone who's as weak as me.
I
That's
totally
not fair.
understand everybody who's like, oh, I like loot boxes. Why would we get rid of them? But let's be honest here. You could get the same, like we were just talking today about how nice it would be to have MW2's system of earning stuff back.
We did just talk about that.
Yeah, how nice it would be to have skins that you see a person with a certain skin, you see somebody with blue tiger, you know they spent the time to grind that out. They put in the work. And I feel like that was so much more valuable than seeing somebody with like, I see a skin now, I'm like, whatever, you know, for the most part.
I think Fortnite has done a good job with it. And I wouldn't mind that system entirely. They give a great way to earn skins. You can also buy skins if you want them.
Right. So yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Because it's not loot boxes. That's literally all I'm saying.
I think for me, it's like I like the economy side of things, and I have responsibility. I don't open cases.
Of course.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I feel like there's a way to maintain an economy without loot boxes.
If they can find a way to somehow be like Fortnite, but also give us, because Fortnite does not have an account. You can't buy and sell skins for real life cash. You can buy and sell accounts illegally. If we could somehow mesh Fortnite and CSGO without loot boxes.
Here, off the top of my head, real quick. What if every time you level up, or every you grind out,
you get $5.
No. Like every time you level up, you get a random item. Let's say, hey,
it's just not fair because some people will then RNG their way to these expensive items.
And you're saying loot boxes are more fair than that?
I don't know.
They aren't.
I can't have this debate because I'm not disagreeing with you, but I am. You know?
Yeah, I feel that.
We're not going to reach. If we can find a middle ground, I think there's something there. It's going to have to. We're going to see where this goes. It's going to be a while too.
All right. One of these days, I'm going to walk in with a cork board, red lines connecting everything. Yeah. It's like, this is my plan for loot boxes.
What's that guy's name? What's Josh Hawley? Or what's you guys, the freaking first guy to make the anti-loot box? Josh Hawley.
Jim Sterling?
No. The first anti-loot box law video we had was on that U.S. Senator, Josh Hawley.
Josh Hawley, yeah.
UK government, Fortnite, CSGO, no loot box. We're going to have a freaking cork board, and we'll be right
Randy
here.
in there somewhere.
Randy's going to be off on the side with all strings to him.
Somehow loot boxes are all Randy Pitchford's fault.
So yeah, we'll see where it goes. I'm excited, and I think it's a step in the right direction.
For sure. All right. So like last week, we're going to wrap it up with a couple questions, a little bit of housekeeping. Going to keep it real brief because I admit it feels like we ran a bit long today.
Yeah. So
we did debate a little bit.
We like talking back and thank you guys as well.
Yeah,
for subscribing, but also I think our last podcast was one of our most viewed ones. So thanks guys, we're out here.
Yeah, shout out. Thank you guys so much.
Hit me with those questions, Zan.
Yeah, real quick. Gonna call out one guy specifically who had a question for you on the last podcast. You know, if you got a question for Jake, drop it in the comments. Let us know what's good. Anyway, Isaac Crane shouts out, like, what do you think the future will hold for CSGO and the pros and the teams? So I'm gonna extrapolate this out and kind of shorten it a little bit.
Okay.
Where do you see CSGO in 5 years?
Whew. All right. Thanks, Isaac, for the question, by the way. And I'm trying to keep this quick as well. I do think now, again, I don't necessarily want this, but I do think eventually, if it does work out and the esports bubble does not pop, we're going to see more semi-franchise type things for a lot of esports out there. It seems a general direction. League of Legends, Overwatch, Call of Duty, pretty much any semi-League of Legends league is now franchising even their smaller leagues. And some sort of pay model where organizations pay in and they get rev share out as well. So I think CSGO could approach that. Where do I see CSGO in 5 years? It's such a tough question because I do think it's a growing esport. I do think it's a long-term esport. I can't give you any guarantees, of course. I do think it'll be around. I do think it'll still be a very popular game. I think in terms of the tournament scene, we're going to see a lot more of the franchise setup Again, that's so tough though, because I've only been in the scene for 4 years. So for me, it's almost impossible to see that far out.
See, but yeah, it's such a long time.
Right?
That's such the weird thing about
I almost
esports.
can't answer that.
I don't know who like a decade ago would say like, oh yeah, Dota 2 is still going to be one of the biggest games in the world.
And there's no way. I agree with you so much. There's no way I could ever say to a game, oh, this will last for 10 years. But there are games that are lasting for 10 years.
People were saying that about Fortnite, and look at what Fortnite's doing right now.
Yeah, and RuneScape. I never would have thought RuneScape would last nearly 20 years, like when I was playing as a kid. One thing I will say very lastly, closing point, I think we'll see a lot more up-and-coming young pro players.
I would like that.
Across all scenes, like 16-year-olds taking on pro stuff. So,
all right. Yeah, like I said, we're keeping it brief, so I'm just gonna roll into this last question because we get it a lot. What's the best way to get in touch if you have a story or want to send us something or whatever, right? All right, real quick. Follow us on Twitter, Esports Talk. Look us up. Shoot us a DM. I monitor those. I try to respond every time somebody reaches out, just because we always really appreciate it. You can always also reach us at media@esportstalk.com if you want to send us an email real quick.
We won't always reply to every DM, but he will see every DM.
Right.
Also on Twitter, my Twitter as well. Jake Sucky.
Right.
I didn't want to say it, man. Jake Lucky is taken, so yeah.
I can see the pain on your face.
It was such a mistake, but I can't go back. You guys can also DM me as well. Any stories we'll see them. So yeah, we appreciate any story people do send to us.
We have had a couple people say they want to send us something. We are getting a PO box set up at the moment.
Yep.
So if anybody wants to reach out, send us a thing. We're getting that set up.
PO box coming soon, and merch coming soon as well.
Yeah, very, very soon. Once again, got the jersey on the wall behind us. Got 2 of the shirts on my desk right now, and got the hoodie theoretically in the mail. Gonna arrive on Monday, the final sample. Fingers crossed. Hopefully, we should be seeing some merch on sale very soon.
And then we got a new guy covering Rainbow Six Siege and more stuff coming soon. So it's been a huge time over here, guys, and more stuff's
Busy
coming.
Days. Well, speaking of stuff coming, we actually got a huge announcement. If I'll just hop right into it. So we've partnered with the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. Just to, for everybody out there who's been saying, hey, we'd love to listen to you guys on the go. When are you guys going to be on iTunes? We've partnered with Prediction. So now we are on their iTunes feed. So anytime you want to listen to us, just look up Prediction, spelled, it's 2 E's actually, spelled like the normal word otherwise.
Yep.
It's PREEDICTION. And, we're going to have new episodes of the podcast every week on Tuesdays around 4 p.m. Not to worry, though. Video podcast not going anywhere. It's still going to be up on the channel.
Still on YouTube.
Every single week. You're still going to see Jake and me complaining and Jake's chugging 5 energy drinks.
But a way for us to kind of expand to more ears out there and, of course, more accessibility to all of you guys who cannot watch on the go on YouTube. You don't have unlimited data like me. So huge shouts to them guys as well. So
was that a flex?
No.
All you plebs who don't have internet.
All of you guys who don't have unlimited data like me, I don't.
Okay.
That does sound weird. Yeah. I don't have unlimited data. I can't watch YouTube on the go. So
true. Yeah. Neither can I. Yeah.
So anyway, let's wrap it up here, Zan. Cheers to you, my guy. Is that everything?
Cheers. I believe. Oh, you know what? Shout out real quick, new listeners, because this is the first episode going up on iTunes. Thank you so much for checking us out.
Thank you guys for listening.
If you want to see some more of our content, we are Esports Talk over on YouTube, esportstalk.com. Look up Esports Talk on Twitter, Facebook. We're chilling. All
right, enough of an outro. Tuned. We need to get out of here. Okay, bye, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
We'll see you back here next time, same time.